You're listening to episode number 1 of the Queen of the Castle podcast. Whatever you do, listen to this entire episode because you're going to discover very quickly that no matter where you are on your stepmom journey, there's always a way to level up more. It is part of the human experience. We're always striving for more and better and using this beautiful life we were given as an opportunity to become our best selves. So whether you're searching for peace in your stepfamily or you're looking to enjoy more abundance and prosperity in life outside your stepfamily, this episode and this podcast is for you. So keep listening and you will discover exactly how you can thrive in all areas of your life. Also, as a quick heads up, before you sink your teeth in, I do swear in this episode and will likely swear in every episode moving forward. So if you have little ears around or you are sensitive to the F word or other of my favorite choice swear words, please do be warned in advance. I would invite you to do what feels best to you. Otherwise, let's buckle up and get thriving. Where would you take your life if you knew you could not fail? I get it. As a stepmom, mom, and entrepreneur, sometimes it can feel like what everyone else expects of you versus what you dream about for yourself are on opposite ends of the spectrum. As a woman, you're taught from a very young age what society thinks you're worth based on how you look, how you behave, and how much money you're allowed to bring in. But I'm here to show you that you can be the woman who has it all. And not just on the outside. I'm Brittany Lynch, and you are the queen of your castle. Hello, and welcome to today's episode. And today's episode is all about how to create lasting change as a stepmom. So have you ever wondered why it is so hard to create change in your life? Whether you are a stepmom seeking change in the way your stepfamily runs, or a stepmom who's struggled to adapt healthy habits, or a stepmompreneur who feels stuck in her business. One thing I know for sure is that every human on this planet is seeking some type of change in their lives. And if you are the exception to this rule, and there is absolutely nothing in your life that you want to change or improve upon, and there's no higher level that you strive to take your life, then call me for real. Even Warren Buffett is still trying to make more money. So for the rest of us, and me included here, as humans, we were designed to seek out a beautiful journey of evolving ourselves to get to this next best place. And I believe that you absolutely can be happy with where you are, but still strive to hit a higher level. Otherwise, what is the point of being given this blessing of a life unless you want to make the most of it? So here's the reason that even though most people want to change something in their lives, they can't seem to do so. Most stepmoms say something like, if I had more of X, then I could do a little more of Y, and life would be a little bit better. For example, one I hear often is, if I had a little more time, or if I had a little more money, or if I had a little more energy, then I could focus my attention on this thing that I want, and then my life would be better. But as you'll start to realize very quickly, this is a broken model. And quite frankly, most stepmoms struggle to change because most stepmoms are focused on fixing everything outside of them. Most stepmoms are focused on fixing the behavior of their stepchildren, or fixing the behavior of their partner's ex, or fixing the behavior of their partner. This is why most stepmoms never get to the root of the actual problem. And when you don't get to the root of the problem, then if you do not get to the root of the problem, then you cannot change anything in the world that you live in. You can't fix anything if you don't actually know what you're trying to fix. So what I've noticed is that the problem with probably 99% of the information that's out there right now, by various internet personalities and influencers and such, the problem is this. There's all this information out there on how to be a happier stepmom, right? 10 steps to be a happier stepmom, or how to grow and scale your business if you're a stepmompreneur, or if you want to lose weight and keep it off, here's 10 steps to do that. And what about how to get along with ex-wives? here's 10 steps to do that, right? I used to fall in this trap too, all the time. Like when I started creating content, I said, here, do all these things, stepmom. Here, do all these things to improve your life. And surely you'll get what you're looking for. But the old me, as well as 99% of the self-help gurus out there, their message is go out and do. Do more. Go out and do more. Do this. Set your goals and smash your goals. Do. Go out and do. But the problem that I figured out that nobody is talking about is this. You do not need to do anything in order to get more or in order to up-level your life. I know this sounds a little bit counterintuitive, so stick with me here. I promise we're going to get to the juicy stuff right away. So what do I mean? For example, you may have heard a specific internet guru out there saying something like, here, do these things and change your mindset. There's one very influential speaker who's out there right now, like no tea, no shade, like spread the good word, girlfriend. But she's like, here, go out, do all of these things. Drink all of this water. Do your exercises. Just do it, right? Just do it. Set your goals and smash them. Just do it. But I'm a member of her very large Facebook group. Like I'm talking hundreds of thousands of women in her Facebook group. And like I said, no tea, no shade. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because every single day within that Facebook group, there are dozens of women in there who are still posting in desperation. And they're still saying, like, I set my goals like you said to do. I'm drinking all of this water like you said to do. And here I am, I can't do this. Right? I'm still desperate. I can't do my goals. Here I am failing at them. I'm following your lead. I'm doing what you're telling me to do, but I can't do this. I'm drinking all this water and I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm getting up at 3:30 in the morning, but I'm still stuck and I'm miserable. And how much more fucking kale do I need to eat? And am I short on coconut oil? Like, is it the coconut oil that I'm missing? Like, how much more coconut oil do I need to do this? So, now I want you to sit back and I want you to take a look at your own life. How many times have you tried to do something and you didn't necessarily get the outcome that you were looking for? Maybe you had a little bit of change or some change at the beginning, but for the most people end up right where they started when they set a goal and try to do their goal. So for me, I used to be a perpetual dieter. Okay. I was always on a diet. I would try and do all of these different diets. And then eventually I'd find myself at 2:00 in the morning with a freaking spoon and a jar of peanut butter crying at myself, hating myself, wondering why I couldn't do this fucking diet. Like, this is the 100th fucking diet I've tried. Why can't I do this fucking diet? I couldn't do anything, though, to make myself love myself. I couldn't do anything to make myself love my body. There was no diet I could do. There was no fucking coconut oil that I could put on it to love my body. You can't put coconut oil in your body and love it, right? That you can't do it. You just can't freaking do it. And the reason is this. The reason is that if you are like most people, then you haven't been able to do more things and get this outcome that you want. It's because real change, real lasting, sustainable, impactful change does not come from doing something. In fact, change comes from a very different, deeper place. Change comes from identifying this root cause of what is keeping you from achieving that thing that you say that you want. So if you're like most stepmoms, then you might want change in areas like earning more money, or changing the type of relationship you have with your stepchildren. Maybe you want to change how your heart starts pounding in your chest when you hear the ex-wife's name. Been there, done that. Maybe you want to change the relationship that you have with food or the way that you see your body, right? Maybe you want to change the relationship you have with your body. Change is not about change your mindset, change your life. Change is about unlearning who and what society has told you you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to show up and how much money you're allowed to make. It's about unlearning how much weight and how much power you give to other people's judgments and negativity. And it's about unlearning those things and then pulling up the roots that have been planted by those things. Because it's not the doing that is keeping you where you are. In fact, it is the roots of those things that are keeping you planted there. They're keeping you stuck there. So here's an example, okay? The very first fan that I had, the very first fan I had on the Step Queen blog when I started it a couple of years ago, to protect her anonymity, I'm going to call her Stacy. So Stacy was one of my first Step Queen followers, fans, believers, one of the first people who believed in Step Queen. She's obviously a stepmom. She's an entrepreneur. She's beautiful. I love her so much. So Stacy, after following along with Step Queen for a little while, decides to do some business coaching with me. And I'm sitting with her and I'm chatting with her about this amazing business that she's built. But when it comes to how much money she's paying herself, it doesn't make any sense. She's completely undervaluing herself. She should be paying herself at least low six figures based on her revenue. And here she is doing all of the things in her business, answering the emails, building the relationships, being the fearless leader, right? She's amazing, but she's frustrated and she's embarrassed that she's paying herself such a low salary, if she's even paying herself at all. So what it boils down to is that she's holding on to some mental blocks about money. And those mental blocks about money come from a root of not believing that she's worthy of paying herself six figures, of not believing that she's good enough to raise her prices, of not believing there can be any other way than the way that there already is, because the way that there is all that she knows, right? She's created this. And if she would just keep doing the things that she was doing, then she would keep getting the results she was getting. Do you see? If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. Every time, every time, every time, every time, every time. Do what you've done, get what you got every time. So sure, you can go ahead and put in longer hours, and you can get up an hour earlier, and you can eat kale sauteed in fucking coconut oil, but you cannot outdo who you believe that you are and what you believe that you are worthy of. So in the step family world specifically, you can do all these nice things for your stepkids in an effort to win them over and to prove yourself to prove to your partner that, you do in fact belong here. But if at the root of who you are, you're hung up on feeling out of place or underappreciated, you can't do your way out of that. You have to pull up the root of that. If you're hung up on how your partner's ex chooses to live her life. And I'm not saying that people don't make shitty choices that are hurtful, because I know some people make shitty choices that are hurtful. But you are the gatekeeper of how much you allow that to hurt you. And as Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Also, sidebar, I fucking love Eleanor Roosevelt. Did you know she was the first lady to say, I'm not about to spend my time as first lady throwing fucking tea parties and decorating and being known as somebody's wife? She spent her life advocating for equality of women, fighting for racial justice. She was an author. She was a speaker. She was a movement maker. She said, I cannot do tea parties because at the root of who I am someone who gives a shit about something bigger than the china I serve my guests on. And what other people are going to think about me if I make waves, and what other people are going to think about me if I step outside of this box that society's put women and people of color inside of. And she changed the world as we know it today. Mad respect, Eleanor. Snaps. Cheers to that. But I digress. So let's circle back here. When someone says to me, if I just had a little more time, then I could do things for myself and then I would be happier. Or if I just had a little more money, then I could do this thing in my business that would make it explode. And then I would feel like I was doing something important. And then I would pay myself more money, right? Then I would pay. If I had more money, I'd pay myself more money. But, okay, I'm going to point something out here. This is important. You do not need more time or more money or more energy in order to create more time or more money or more energy. Like, do you see how backwards that is? Do you see how backwards it is? It's almost comical. Like, it's not, because I'm not making fun of where you're at, but it's comical that we think I need more time to make more time. I need more money to make more money. I need more energy to get more energy. Like, it's twisted. So in fact, what most people do is they spend their entire lives trying to figure out that you cannot do more if you're unwilling to look at the reasons that you are where you are in the first place. So you may be wondering, what is the solution? And something I've noticed that every thriving stepmom has in common is this. The thriving stepmom who has more money than she knows what to do with, who is completely secure in her relationship, who doesn't feel jealous or resentful, who happily ticks off the boxes on her bucket list without guilt or shame, who doesn't fight with her scale, who doesn't fight with her dress size, who doesn't find herself at 2:00 in the morning eating peanut butter out of a jar with a spoon. What this thriving stepmom knows that most other stepmoms, and maybe even you, have forgotten. The thriving stepmom knows that the only way to have an even better life is to become even better on the inside first. The thriving stepmom knows that in order to pay herself a high 6-figure salary, first she has to pull out whatever root is saying to her, you will never be able to make that kind of money, or the root that says you're not talented enough for that. The thriving stepmom knows that in order to get free from giving one tiny shit about what other people say to her or about how she should be living her life, she has to pull up the root of why she's even giving someone else's opinions a second thought. And just like Eleanor Roosevelt proved to us, there's a hell of a lot more to life than what society has told us that we're supposed to accept. You cannot and will not have something in your life if you first don't remove what has gotten you there in the first place. Period. And now I would really encourage you and I would really invite you to, take a look at what roots are there. Pull those roots up, plant something beautiful there in their place. And so whatever it is that you're seeking, just know that the solution is within you. It is not outside of you. You're not going to find the solution in a Facebook group. You're not going to find the solution in another blog post or another podcast. You're not going to find it in a winning lottery ticket, believe it or not, right? Like there's a reason that lottery winners go broke. You're not going to find it in your partner's ex-wife's hands. And you sure as fuck aren't going to find the solution in kale or coconut oil. The solution is in you. And whether you believe it or not right now, you do deserve a life of health, wealth, and abundance. You do deserve a life of loving yourself fully and wholly and completely. You do deserve a life of freedom from other people's negativity. You deserve it. You deserve it. And you can have it. Stop doing. Stop doing. Stop doing. Stop doing. Start pulling. Stop doing, start pulling. I'm going to invite you to join me back here next week because we are going to start taking a look at what specific roots most people have that need to be pulled in the first place. Because you deserve an even better life. I hope this episode got your wheels turning and showed you just how powerful you are. I would invite you to take 30 seconds and tap subscribe to this podcast. When you subscribe to the podcast, then rest assured you will never miss an episode. And in no time, spinning your wheels will be a thing of the past. Thank you for listening and subscribing. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if after you subscribed, you jumped on over and left me a 5-star review, and better yet, a written review. I am on a mission to let every mom and stepmom know that you can create the life of your dreams. And I need your help to change the world. The world needs us. Thank you so much for subscribing and leaving me a 5-star review. I will see you next week, same time, same place. For more behind the scenes action and to get really up close and personal with me and our beautiful step family, jump on over to Instagram and follow me at The Step Queen. Don't be shy, send me a DM, tag me in your posts, tag me in your stories, let me know what you're up to and what about the podcast has been blowing your mind. I cannot wait to get to know you better, and Instagram is my jam. I love you so much. I love you so much. Make it rain, girlfriend.